Welcome to NAILBA's ID Network. I'm your host, Katie Fallinger, and here on the ID Video channel, you'll see exclusive interviews with changemakers and key voices within independent brokerage distribution. I recently sat down with Chair-elect of NAILBA's Board of Directors and CEO of Brokers Service Marketing Group, Jason Lee. Have a listen. Let's actually start off with your agency. Talk about your role in it and the history of the agency.
Sure. My dad started the agency in 1972. Not an uncommon phrase that you hear from a lot of current NAILBA members. We were a life shop primarily for around 30 years. And in around 2000, we got into the annuity and long-term care business. Bought the business from the partners 3 years ago.
You also have a relationship with NAILBA. Tell us about your role within this organization.
Yeah, so I can, not to talk about my dad too much, but he definitely was a huge influence. He was one of the founding members of NAILBA, past chairman and Moore's Award winner. And, when you grow up in the business like many of us did and you see the magnitude of the NAILBA convention and all of the carriers there, all of the big BGAs, vendors, everyone in one space, it only happens once a year. Mm-hmm. As I came into the business, it was a great proving ground for me to test what I thought I knew and ask questions and develop relationships in a way that you'd never really be able to do if you were just meeting with your own staff or up to the IMO level or even with a carrier. Getting that cross-pollination and having that central sort of hub feeling was something that I enjoyed, but also just the notion that NAILBA has always been and will continue to be the place where independent wholesale distribution has sort of planted its flag and comes together once a year and sticks with throughout the year as well. It's been more than the meeting, but it's been a real pleasure to see the evolution and be a part of that journey back up, and the future is very bright.
Speaking of evolution, 2020 brings a lot of changes in your industry. So can you talk a bit about the trends that you see, the challenges, the positive, the negative that you see just in this year ahead in the business?
Yeah, so I think the greatest challenges that we face as an industry, when I say industry, I don't mean just independent wholesale distribution. I mean the life and protection industry. I'll use the term risk management. We have a huge relevancy problem at the consumer level, at the federal and state regulator level. 50 years ago, being in the life insurance profession was an admired profession, and people coming out of college, it was in a competitive environment to get a job with a MetLife or a John Hancock. And today, that's shifted to more of a broader financial markets. Wealth management push where a lot of the talent over the past generation has gone away from life insurance distribution and into other areas. The challenge is how do you overcome that, but the opportunity is huge, right? We're selling half as many policies as an industry as we did 50 years ago into a population that over that same period of time has almost doubled. So the potential for us to not only achieve growth, but to make a bigger impact on the country and the families and businesses that we want to protect is just enormous. Another big trend in our industry is to try to evolve our processes. And when you look at our processes, we're somewhere right around the postal service. We're talking licking stamps and driving on the wrong side of the car. It is really that antiquated, and that includes us. This is not about me picking on the carriers, but the opportunity here is to really be leaders in that technological evolution. Life insurance should be as easy to get as home and auto insurance. When you ask a client, any buyer, what do you think of when you hear the word insurance? They almost always say home, auto, and health. And why is that? Well, one, they're mandated for the most part, right? If you have a home with a mortgage, you have to have home insurance, you have to have auto insurance, and you pretty much have to have health insurance. So there's that. But the other piece is it's really easy to get those. I mean, I don't know about you, when you get your auto insurance, it takes about 30 seconds on the phone. We've got to get there. We're committed to get there. And I believe that NAILBA can be a big catalyst to bring distribution together and drive process innovation and technology to get our industry to grow.
You touched on evolution, but NAILBA is an organization that has absolutely evolved just in the last couple of years especially. Can you talk about the value that you see in a NAILBA membership and why your agency is in fact a member?
Sure. I talked a little bit at the beginning about having grown up with NAILBA, so that definitely played a role for me. But in terms of the value that I get out of NAILBA specifically, it's around the ability to talk to so many different people that I would normally consider competitors, or maybe friendly competitors and peers, that you just can't find a place to do that. And I'm not just talking about the annual meeting. The annual meeting is maybe the initial kickoff point where you can meet someone and shake their hand, but then that leads to the ability to develop that relationship over time. And I can say without question that my ability to build those relationships every year with carriers, with peers, with vendors is almost solely due to NAILBA and the time I've spent there.
Very good endorsement. Of course, at its core, NAILBA's mission and vision and values is all centered around providing security for all, especially widows and orphans. So if you could sum it up in one or maybe two words, could you describe life as a BGA principal?
The thing that comes to my mind when I wake up in the morning and you're talking about running a business, and we have about 40 people on staff, so there's 40 people that you employ and 40 families that rely on our business for their own livelihoods. I think about the word responsibility. I feel we have a tremendous responsibility as small business owners, but when you look at the impact that our products make, we have a tremendous responsibility to the families and businesses that we serve. And when in the final analysis of what part of the financial services industry has the most impact and the most responsibility for the financial security of this country, other than the Social Security Administration, we're it. And it's staggering how big it is. So I would say responsibility.
Watch for new videos in the ID Network every week at nailba.org. And be sure to follow us on social media. We've linked all the places you can find NAILBA below. And don't forget to save the date for the next annual meeting. NAILBA 39 happens November 18th through the 20th in Hollywood, Florida. We've got those details below for you as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon.